Australian Cricketers Association calls for independent review into sport. Bans to be reduced. The Australian Cricketers Association, ACA, has called for an independent, nationwide review into the sport and implored Cricket Australia to consider downgrading the suspensions of Steve Smith, David Warner and Cameron Bancroft, as it feels their punishments are disproportionate to the crime. ACA President Greg Dyer suggested at a media conference on Tuesday that a review into the game was required, in the aftermath of the ball tampering scandal in Cape Town that has raised questions about the culture of Australian cricket from top to bottom. "We need a far-reaching and comprehensive review of the culture of the game," Dyer told reporters. "Let's identify causes of the tipping point that occurred in Cape Town. We need an independent review of the culture in the game of cricket with the power to assess every contributing element and suggest the necessary changes. That independent person or group of people should report to a Cross Cricket Australia and ACA panel." Dyer suggested the review seek contributions from the government, Cricket Australia, cricket clubs and the public, before making recommendations to improve the culture. The game of cricket has been running for 140 to 150 years and it will run for another 150 years beyond our lifetime, Dyer said. "The spirit of the game will endure throughout that process." Dyer remained tight-lipped on whether the trio of players would appeal the suspensions handed down by Cricket Australia. Smith and Warner have been banned from international and state cricket for 12 months, while Bancroft is set to sit out for the next 9 months. Players have until Thursday to submit an appeal of their bans, which Dyer said were too harsh and not relative to other documented ball tampering offences. "The ACA is working strongly with the players," Dyer said. "Their decisions are imminent but I'm not able to share them with you this morning. It is a deeply personal decision for the players. We're supporting them through that process, but ultimately, whether to appeal is for the 3 players to decide. We believe the bans are disproportionate. We've pointed out the fact that incidents of this similar type have occurred previously. The sanctions are vastly less than what's been suggested here. There is a need to reconcile between the two. There is a need to understand that disproportionality and to move forward. We're in ongoing conversations with Cricket Australia through this process." Asked whether he thought James Sutherland should stand down from his position as chief executive of Cricket Australia, Dyer said, "That's not a question for us to determine. We're not the HR advisors for Cricket Australia, as you might imagine." Dyer believes the players involved should be allowed to participate in state cricket, something that their current sanctions do not allow. The ACA believes the deep remorse shown by the trio is another reason their bans should be significantly reduced. The players need to be brought back into the confines of the game to be supported by the game, to be assisted by the game, in the rehabilitation, Dyer said. If the sanctions were to prevent that, then I think that would be a bad outcome. The loss of leadership is significant as a sanction. These are very substantial things that have occurred to these men. That needs to be brought into mind. Those consequences are over and above the length of the sentence. The contrition shown by these men is extraordinary. We ask for this extraordinary contrition to be taken into account by Cricket Australia, just as it would be in any fair or proper process. Their distressed faces has sent a message across the globe as effective as any sanctions could be. Australia cried with Steve Smith last Thursday. I certainly did. We expect this contrition to be taken into account.